June 28th, 1998.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell. Now, it's at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Really?
I'm supposed to go to the match that night.
Yeah.
And what happened is, and I've told this story on the show before, one of my buddies, his brother had one of those cheater boxes.
Yeah.
So a couple of the fellas wanted to come up to my apartment. I lived on Mount Washington in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They decided.
No city like Pittsburgh.
I loved it.
As soon as you're there, you're like, wow.
Especially when you come through the tunnel when you get in from the airport.
It's just a different, every great city's got a unique feel to it, but Pittsburgh
really
for sure.
So, all of a sudden these guys decide they want to watch Hell in the Cell. And I'm like, all right, well, if all the boys want to come over, I wanted to go to the match, but all right, I'll save some money and we'll just get it at home. And I was telling O'Shea, like, to this day, I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I could have been in the building for literally one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. But also I'm at home with my boys. And had I not been home, I would have missed out on the Jim Ross call. Yeah. I would have missed out on knowing that if I'm there, I'm thinking Mick is really dead. Yeah, it's a different ballgame. Being at home, you really got the benefit of having the replays, kind of getting to see things over and over, while if you're there, you just got that one shot, and now you're in the Civic Arena, like, what happened? Like, what's going on? So I struggle with the fact that I missed it, but like almost being at home and hearing Jim Ross, like, that call, good God Almighty, as God is my witness, he's broken in half.
I'm a huge fan of the classic sports calls.
Yeah.
And to me, Jim Ross's call is every bit as good, if not better, than the Giants win the pennant and Do You Believe in Miracles?
Yeah. Those are two of the greatest calls of all time.
And it's become a bigger part of popular culture. Like, every time a team goes down 3-0 in the World Cup, up pop the meme saying, will somebody stop the damn match? Enough is enough. And I tell you, the JR call to me is so powerful that one of the most emotional experiences regarding the Cell is I've been on radio stations a couple times where they'll play just the call. Yeah. And I get goosebumps. Even though I know what happens, like I said, it's like that Green Mile. I know what happens. Yeah. I know the call. I was in the match, and I get goosebumps just listening to JR call that match. And King was on top of his game, too.
Yeah, have to shout out to King. They both. And like I said, they really kept us informed in a way that you wouldn't get in the arena.
Yeah.
Mick, how did you get up? Like, you're getting wheeled off.
How is such a perfect word?
I don't even know if I want to say how or why. Like, because at the point we're sitting there, you get up.
This is after I was thrown off the first time?
After you're thrown off the first time, so they load you onto the stretcher, and now we're all like, oh my God, what is going on? They start to wheel you away, and now, having watched, many, many documentaries and videos, it's like, you were asking questions, you were kind of awake, and then you jumped off the stretcher and then began to climb back up. Like, what was your mindset?
Well, the funny thing was only 3 people knew, me, Undertaker, and Mr. McMahon. So we never clued in the EMTs. No one ever clued in the EMTs. So they only found out in real time that the gurneys didn't have room to get down there, and that's why the cell structure starts raising
with Taker
on top of it. Starts ascending towards the heavens. I've never talked to Taker about what he was thinking when that thing started going, because that wasn't something that was talked about. But I did tell him, like, I don't know if I'll be able to, but if I can, we assumed they were going to come down with, stretcher, gurney, whatever. We just never talked to the medical people. I said, I don't know if I can, but if I'm able to, I'm going to roll off that gurney. And I believe I said, I'm going to climb that son of a bitch again. And there's a couple of regrets I have. One is that I did not try to climb the cell earlier in the day, as I promised Taker and Mr. McMahon I had. Because if I had, I would have been like, guys, I can't climb it. Like, my feet don't fit in. So if you look at every subsequent cell match there's ever been, they always have the holes.
That's because of you.
I was having so much trouble. Like, I'm like, I don't think I can make it. My feet were slipping off the cell. And one of the saving grace I had was that I was holding onto the wire, the mesh, so tightly that when I got up to the cell, the fact that I couldn't feel a few of my fingers took my mind off the peril that awaited me.
Right.
And then when I had a chance, as soon as Taker's music started, I was like, okay, nobody's looking at me. Let me see what I got myself into. And I looked over that edge. Oh, I don't know if you know this. I rarely curse, right, in real life. But I do think in curses.
Yeah.
And all I was doing was dropping that F-bomb in my head.
You can say it.
Only for this. When I do the one-man show, I use one F-bomb a night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I tease it a little bit, like it's a finishing move, it's so gratifying when I hit it. Like in Pittsburgh, I just did my one-man show in Pittsburgh, and it's, always been my best town. Get a standing ovation in front of a few hundred people. It feels like you're in the middle of Madison Square Garden.
Or the Pittsburgh Civic Arena.
Yeah, it does. It does, except there's no late-night emergency room.
What made you, Mick, what would make you think that, you know what, Mark, just throw me off of
For the
this,
love of the game.
and I'll land on the table. Yeah. What would make you think to do that?
I think O'Shea's right. For love of the game.
For love of the game.
I look, there wasn't as much to do. I like the freedom of being around the ring, and I would call them the toys. I never call them weapons. The procession of the toys, and hopefully the second object would be more menacing than the first, and try to have some rhyme and reason to it while creating like a weird piece of surreal art. Because art can be whatever you want it to be. Like, I still don't get the whole Jackson Pollock just
throwing crazy.
Like a third grader could do it. But if you say it's art, I'm going to respect. People see Van Gogh and go, it's either the greatest thing they've ever seen, or like, well, he's a little heavy on those brush strokes. Like I don't know if a Van Gogh would sell today. So art is what you decide it is, and I consider what we do to be a unique form of art, and part of the way that I tried to thrive was by creating moments in time. Like, I didn't have at my disposal enough physical tools to have that out and out classic match. Like a Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels, when they go out, they're just going to have a classic. I don't have those tools. So I have to create moments. And to me, I'll take moments over matches anytime, something that sticks in your mind. You might not remember that whole match, but you're going to remember where you were and how you felt when that moment went down.
And I'm a living example of that. As I said, right? And then, he comes back up, and then.
Yeah. Then you go through it.
Which wasn't planned. Although looking back on it, when Taker and I are up there and our feet are sinking into the mesh, like 18 inches, we're lucky we didn't just go right through it together. The two of us together.
You can see the zip ties popping.
That was my thought when I was up on top of there. I was like, you could hear them going, Pew.
Really?
And I'm thinking, I don't recall there being any twist ties when Undertaker and
this is the security we used.
I said, and listen, I love Richie Posner. I was just thinking about Richie on the way over here and how I hadn't seen him in so many years. But I think when I told him I want a little portion of the mesh to give, so that each time Taker choke slams me, a little more is giving, and then eventually he's going to shove me. Like, this was the visual I had. He's going to shove me down a kind of a man-made rabbit hole. And so all he'd have to do is support my legs. I mean, he can do it. He's a big, strong guy. And I'd be flailing with my arms like I was out of control. And then when the time was right, I'd have to take my own bump on my hands and knees. And that carried a little risk to it. Fully instantaneous risk-reward ratio analysis. That's a risk. I'll take that. I'll take that risk. But I did not know, did not even see it in the cards that the moment I hit this thing, it's all I hear was ting. And then when I came to, I was like, I think I have less teeth than I used to have. There's this pair of sneakers here, and I have no idea how they got there. That was Terry Funk buying me time. And I thought, there's a lot of twist ties.
Watch new episodes of No Contest Wrestling every Wednesday, or listen wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us at No Contest Wrestling Podcast on Instagram.